Hello everyone, very welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angelica and today I'm going to do another dupe video for you guys. I think I have two up on my channel and I will leave that up in the card and down in the description box if you want to watch that after this video, of course. But before we get started, I just want to mention, if you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And also, if you like makeup content, if you like apply makeup, talk about makeup, hearing about makeup, having a good time and just relax, this is the place to be, and I would love to have you here. So I will love for you to subscribe to my channel. Just click on the subscribe button down below and also on the notification bell. I upload Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays here on my channel. But yeah, that was that, and let's go into this video. Before we get started, I just want to say I haven't filmed this look. I just did this look with this palette. This is the Miracle palette from Glamlight. I just want to do more like a pinky look. And also I have tried out some new things from Kiko Milano from the Ray of Love collection. I don't think it's already up. If it's up, I will leave it up in the cards and down below. If it's not, it will be up on my channel this week, so stay tuned for that. So let's start, guys. So I have a few palettes here that I'm gonna like dupe out, and this is not 100% dupes, guys. So this is not me like trying to find 100% dupes, because 100% dupes is like dupe palettes. This is like duping the vibe of the palette. So maybe you have something similar in your collection, or just take a look in your collection. Maybe you have something that is similar or that has the shades you want in this palette. So let's get started, guys. I'm gonna scooch a little bit here and we're gonna see. I'm gonna put up a picture here so I can see what I talk about. That can be pretty good. So the first palette here, this is the Urban Decay Naked Wild West. So this is actually a very pretty palette, but it has a lot of neutral shades. It has a lot of deep dark shades. It has cool tone shades and a pop of teal or green. And I just feel like, and a silver, I believe. A palette I thought about just like straight from my head that I actually have is this one. This is the Mayali Yaya palette. And this is the owner of Blush Tribe. Blush Tribe doesn't exist anymore, but the owner had started this brand, Mayali Beauty. This is actually a limited edition palette. But let's take a look at this. I think she has like 50% off the whole website, and I think she has this as well. Still. Anyways, just take a look at this. I would say if we just take away maybe this one and maybe that one, this one is actually pretty similar. You can get like similar looks, in my opinion, with this palette. You have really dark deep mattes like browns, more cool tone browns, more warmer and a little more orangey leaning as in that palette, a little more on the red. And also you have a pop of green. You have actually two green shimmer shades. In the Urban Decay one, you just have one. And I just feel like you have all these shades. I mean, maybe not the lightest bone color mattes, but I don't use that as much, but if you do, maybe this is not for you. But I just feel like this one, I really love this color story, by the way. So this is like an autumn palette for me. I really feel like this is a really nice palette, and you have some more cool tone shades here as well, like shimmers. So I just feel like this one could be a really nice dupe for that palette. And also I thought about a palette that maybe you have in your collection. It's not available anymore, but it's the Colourpop Dreamspray palette. So I will pop up a picture here that you can see them close together. I mean, you have the beigey bone color mattes, you have the deeper brown, you have the teal, both in like a shimmer and a matte, and you have kind of a silver, it feels like. I'm not sure, but it looks like a silver. They are quite similar, I will say. The only thing though, the Dreamspray palette just have one really dark brown matte, but how many dark brown mattes do you need? So I feel like if you have that palette, maybe that is good enough for you. Maybe, because I just feel like you can get similar looks with that one. And also I have another palette. So I was thinking about the DUPE Cosmetics Latte palette, the first one. If we take a look at that one, I feel like I just took out one. You can see down in the corner, it's a white shade, and actually I just made it white. I think it was it like a corally pinkish shade maybe? I think so, but I just put that one out so we don't get confused here. But look at the color story now. I mean, and look at the Urban Decay one. I feel like you have the shades here. You have this almost silvery cool tone shimmer, you have the teal, you have the more orangey leaning matte brown, you have the dark brown, you have the light mattes again. I just feel like that one has a lot of the shades that the Naked palette also have. So I feel like that is also like a great dupe if you have that palette. Maybe you don't need the Naked palette, but the Naked palette looks really pretty though, the packaging and all. But if you want to save some money and maybe just take a look, because this is not a color story that is unique. I mean, it's browns and it's a pop of teal. So I feel like there is a lot of palettes that has that you can pick all these shades from. It's not super unique. Next palette is a new palette from DUPE Cosmetics. Is the Lost in Los Angeles palette, and this is a pastel palette, and there have been a lot of pastel palettes out lately. So I just thought, when I looked at this, I thought about the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, and I will put up pictures here with swatches and the palette. I don't own that palette, but it looks so pretty. You have this beautiful turquoisey green, you have the purple, you have the nudes, like peachy shades, you have the purple. Did I say purple? Maybe. You have, yeah, I just feel like you have a lot of similar shades in that one. Not every shade though, but I have this one. This is actually like a dupe for the Retrograde palette, but it's from She Glam. It's the Breeze palette, but they just took a few of the shades from that palette and yeah, put it in this palette, kind of. From the color story. And this one I feel like also have a few of these shades that the DUPE Cosmetics have, but I really like this one, by the way. So I just feel like that one is kind of similar. And also the Glam Light Ice Cream palette, that one is bigger though, but I mean, you have the shades there, you have the pastels, you have some of the deep shades, I feel like the brown one and maybe like a gold. But I mean, if you have the Glam Light palette, I don't think you need the DUPE Cosmetics one, because I think they are very similar. Of course, you get a lot of shades in the Ice Cream palette, but I mean, the DUPE one seems really nice as well, and I've heard it's a good quality as well. And last palette, this is not like super like dupe, but it is a pastel palette, and this is from Nomad Cosmetics, and this is the Harajuku Tokyo palette. This is how this one looks, and I feel like you have these greens and purple and pinks. You also have this in this palette. So what I'm saying is, if you have pastel palettes in your collection already, maybe you don't need that DUPE Cosmetics palette. Next up, we have a Huda Beauty palette. This is the Naughty palette. This looks so freaking pretty. I was really drawn to this palette when I saw it first, and then I thought maybe I have a dupe for that, kind of. So I was thinking about this one. This is the Naked Cherry from Urban Decay, and this is how it looks. You have all these berry, rosy, burgundy, rosy reds, purpley shades in this palette. I will also put up a picture where you can see the swatches from the Naughty palette and this palette, because I think they are very, very similar actually. I mean, you get really deep dark mattes, you get really light ones, and all the shades in between as well. You have some shimmers, you have some mattes. Of course we can't dupe the formula, of course, but I'm just looking for the color story here. So I think this one actually is a really great dupe for that palette. And I know the Naughty palette has a lot of textures and interesting stuff in that one that this one doesn't have, but just to create a look and get that color story, I feel like that one is a really nice dupe. And also I thought about a Colourpop palette. I don't have this palette. This is the Ménage à Moine. I cannot pronounce that, but this is how it looks. It looks so, so pretty. You also have this deep, dark burgundy, red, purpley shades, like a mauvey purple color story, rosy tones. You have some nudes, you have some deeper shades, you have some shimmers. I don't know if they have pressed glitters, but look at these swatches. This actually looks very similar to the swatches in the Naughty palette, the more cool tone ones, and I think the more warm tone look a lot like the Naked Cherry palette. So if you own one of these, I don't think, I mean, of course, if you want to try this palette, because it has a lot of different formulas and, you know, but maybe if you're just looking for that color story, maybe this is enough actually, if you own one of these palettes. Next up, we have the Native palette from Exo Beauty. I really love this palette. I'm gonna show you how it looks inside. When I saw a Colourpop palette, that Colourpop palette looked a lot like this palette. So I'm gonna pop up a picture. This is the Boudoir Noir palette. Doesn't this look really, really similar to this palette? Or is it just me? I just feel like the whole layout with the murky, like green, mossy green ones, the more neutral shades here. I feel like in a pop of kind of silver, because we have a silver here, and I think that palette has kind of a silver. Is it a silver? I feel like it is a silver. It looks really, really close to each other, so probably you can create some very similar looks with the Colourpop palette if you own that one and don't want to get, oh my god, this one. I really think this one is great though, and I actually love the Colourpop formula as well, but this one is from New Zealand, so if you don't want to buy something, it's maybe taxes or shipping or so, maybe it's easier for you to get a hold of a Colourpop palette. So that Boudoir Noir I think looks really similar, well, very similar to this one. And yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed this palette, but the other one, the Colourpop one, looks super nice as well. Now I have a palette that I don't own, but I have the dupe palette. So it's the Kylie Cosmetics, the Grinch palette. Oh my god, I was so obsessed with this palette when it came out this holiday. It looks so, so pretty with the greens, with the neutrals. I don't know, I just felt so inspired. Then I thought, does this look a little bit like the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette? Maybe. So let's open this up and look at this. I feel like this one looks actually very similar. If we just, I have photoshopped a this palette, so I'm gonna pop up a picture where I took this one and this one out of the palette. These two doesn't belong in this palette if we're gonna dupe it out with the Kylie Cosmetics palette, so I just took these off. And then I actually thought, that Grinch palette, you know, the layout, the background is kind of throwing things off here. So I actually photoshopped this palette with another background, the same background color as the Kylie one. And here is the result. I mean, come on. Now you can see it's actually quite similar, the color story here. I mean, it's not 100% dupe. As I said, it's not 100% dupe, but now you actually can see the shades a little bit more, and you have a few, like you have the vibe. That's what I'm trying to say. You have the vibe of the palette. You have the similar shades. You have the greens, you have the neutrals, you have some shimmers that is quite similar. I think they both have like a pinky shimmer, and they also have like a more cool tone shimmer, and also more neutral shades, a little bit darker shades, the greens. Yeah, I just feel like I don't need that Grinch palette because I have my avocado toast palette and I love this quality of this palette. So now I have two palettes that I don't own, so I'm just gonna put up some pictures. So I thought I was going to, when I saw this one, this is the DUPE Cosmetics, their new palette, the Transition palette, and it's like a bunch of mattes from light to dark and a little more leaning to orangey reds and browns, like warm tones, I feel like. But I was thinking about a palette straight away. It is the Colourpop, the Big Puppy palette, and look at this. And of course, this has not as many shades as the DUPE Cosmetics one, but look at this. This is from light to dark. You don't need that many actually. Maybe you just need this 9-pen palette from Colourpop, because that is all matte and it goes from light to dark in these orangey red leaning colors, and I feel like that is a great dupe for that palette if you're looking for something similar but maybe you don't want to pay that much for that palette. Maybe you can just pick this one up from Colourpop. I just think the Colourpop one looks so pretty. I would never buy the DUPE Cosmetics one. I think it's pretty, but no, I don't need that many mattes in a palette. But if I have a 9-pen palette with just mattes, that is actually something that I could pick up. I think this Colourpop palette is a great dupe for the DUPE Cosmetics one. Tell me down below, have you picked any of these up? Just tell me down below if you like the formula or if it performs good. I really like the Colourpop one. I would never pick up the DUPE Cosmetics one because, as I said, I don't need that big palette with so many mattes, but maybe I will pick up the Colourpop one next time I order. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to order from Colourpop, but yeah, what else do we have, guys? Do we have anything else here? Yes, we have. So I also have a melt palette. So this is the newest one. This is the Blueprint palette, and this is how it looks. It has some warm neutrals and some cool tone blues, and it looks really pretty. But I just thought, neutrals with a pop of blue, I have seen that before, so I just took this one. So this is from Elly Girl. This is the Artistry Palette, and I just popped out two of the shades. I think you can see the two black shades there. They are not black shades. They are actually shades that I have photoshopped black because I don't want to, like, I just wanted, I can't remember what it was to be totally honest, the original, but I just put these out because I think now you can see the color story, how similar it is with this melt palette. I think you have just two pops of blues here, and I think both of them are shimmers. In the melt palette you have one matte and two shimmers, I believe, or three maybe, of the blues. But look at the neutrals. I mean, you have the shades. You actually have the shades, I feel like, and you have the pop of blue. But of course, as I said before, this is not the same formula. So I mean, I haven't tried melt. I know a lot of people love melt, so I just thinking about duping out the vibe of the palette. But I think this is actually a great dupe. Maybe if you have that Elly Girl palette, you don't need this one. And also this palette. So this is the BH Cosmetics Beautiful in Barcelona. This is a neutral palette, more cool tone neutral palette, I would say, with a pop of blue. So you have a matte blue and you have a shimmer blue. These blue are not, I don't know how they are in real life. The shimmer blue doesn't look that bright as in the melt palette, but I think you have the vibe here as well with all the neutrals and the blues. And I think the Beautiful in Barcelona palette looks really pretty, and also the Melt palette. But I think this one could be a nice dupe actually. And then we have the last palette, guys. This is from Viseart. I haven't tried Viseart, so I don't know. Everybody's talking about the formula. I can't dupe out the formula, but the color story reminded me of a palette. So this is the Rose Edit palette, and it looks really pretty. It has like some neutrals, some pop of pink, some pop of purple, a lot of rosy tones, pinkish like color story. And then I thought about a LA Girl palette again. So this is the Break Free palette. This is me. And look at these two. I mean, they have the same vibe here. I feel like you have a dark brown, you have the more light mattes, you have the pop of pink and purples, and a lot of shimmers in the LA Girl palette as well. And I just think it looks so, so pretty. And I think these two are a little bit similar, but not super, like they're not super great dupes. But I mean, if you look at the palettes, I think they are similarities in this palette with the Viseart palette. So yeah, what do you think? Is this a good dupe? Not the greatest dupe in my opinion, but I feel like there is something, you know, sometimes it's just like something about a palette, it reminds you of something and you want to go with that feeling. And I'm going with that feeling with this palette. Yes, I think this was it actually. So tell me down below, which one was your favorite of the dupes? It's just fun to dupe out palettes. I love to do this. I can't do it like every week, or I don't know, I can't have a schedule on these videos because I need to do my research. I need to find the palettes I'm going to dupe them out with. I need to find the dupe palette. I can't have it as a schedule. So hopefully I will do this soon again. There will be a lot of palettes releases so I can dupe them out. I hope you really enjoy these kinds of videos. I think it's so much fun to do this. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. And as I said, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.